6:37 as we just charge along this Monday morning. Effortlessly, we make it look easy, Julie, but I don't know about you. I've already worked up a sweat a few times this morning.
Me too.
Coming up at 7:05, Joe DeGenevo will join us. At 7:35, Senator Ben Cardin will give us the latest on the efforts to rebuild the bridge. And then at 8:35, Mike Clancy running for Congress in Virginia's 10th. When is a potato not a potato? Remember, we've come a long way from the four basic food groups, the food pyramid.
Food pyramid, which had you eating all carbs.
Nothing but
exactly.
carbs and complex.
I missed that pyramid.
Starchy breads and everything. And we've all had potato buns, which are a fine, soft little hamburger bun, right? The potato bun, that's good. Yeah. But apparently the Biden administration, they got confused with the whole potato bun thing. And they've decided that potatoes are, in fact, a grain. To sort this all out is Gabby Hoffman. She is at the IWF Center for Energy and Conservation and is the host of the District of Conservation podcast. Gabby, this is a joke, right? I thought this was Babylon B.
No.
Biden administration is now going to consider a potato a grain.
I wish it was a joke, and I know today is April Fool's Day, but this is very serious.
Right?
It's very top of mind for this administration. They have to change the definition of potatoes. But this is par for the course for them. They can't define a woman. So how can they define a potato?
That's true. So I remember when the Reagan administration got lambasted, or maybe it was Bush, the first Bush administration, because they said, no, ketchup was
ketchup, that's
vegetable.
Right.
Because they were like, school lunches have to have a balanced meal and you have to have a certain number of vegetables. They say, well, they put ketchup on a hot dog, that's a vegetable. And by the way, that's at least closer to reality than potatoes being a grain. Potatoes grow in the ground, they're a vegetable.
So why are they doing this?
There's a whole greater scheme to this. If you're looking to see what's behind this, the USDA and the HHS have come together, and they've been doing this for many, many years. I think these are like 5-year plans. It's the 2025 Dietary Guidelines of America Committee. Sounds very Orwellian. It's a mouthful to read, and it makes you get nervous reading about it. So their whole goal is to promote health equity. They've assembled 20 advisory members, and I was combing through what some of their backgrounds are. A lot of them believe in SNAP benefits. They believe in, healthy lunches and health equity, and that the medical profession and nutrition are very unfair to people who are not privileged in their mind. So they're putting out these guidelines. Maybe in prior years it wasn't so ESG, CRT, matrix involved, but for sure it's now very much in this DEI kind of complex in terms of health decisions. So anything goes with what they're going off of in terms of their guidelines. So today it could be potatoes, tomorrow it could be cereal, now is a meat or something of that nature, protein. That's how they're going.
Yeah, well, DGAC has been political for decades, and prior to sort of the DEI takeover, it has been run by radical green activists who've been trying to do away with meat. They've been trying to do away with alcohol. They've been trying to do away with fun. Anything enjoyable is bad. So this is sort of par for the course for the DGAC.
Yeah, but color me naive. I'm still missing the point here. Even if this is for some reason a diversity equity move, how does it exactly benefit that? I mean, just get to the fundamentals. Why do they want to classify potato as a grain?
Because they can, for one, and then two, potatoes, derivatives are potato chips, perhaps mashed potatoes to them. People who they're intending to target these guidelines to, perhaps they may not make healthy choices in their eating habits, so they're saying to them, well, because we can't force you to change your diet, we'll just change what the guidelines are. That's what it seems to me. And you look to see also who are some of the funders. So you have a lot of these nonprofits, NGOs, very progressive, center-left type things. There's also at the 11th, I think it's the 11th disclosure of other financial, non-financial, contributors to all of these board advisory members. It's Beyond Meat, the purveyors of that fake burger, the Beyond Burger, which has 20 some odd ingredients, which are far worse for you health-wise. And this company's being propped up because they say that consuming meat is bad for the planet. So there's the tie-in to energy and climate that I was able to find overtly with this new crop of advisors. So they believe that potatoes probably are bad for the environment. They're very labor intensive. I have no doubt to grow potatoes is a very arduous process. Any agriculture crop, the USDA, I've been looking into this, has been really big on, pushing these so-called climate solutions. They claim they're trying to do regenerative farming, but they're trying to move away farmers from farming altogether. in many regards. So it could also have a climate component there as well.
So by classifying it as a grain, that then limits I'm sorry, I'm still not. I think, I'm still not understanding.
Are they trying to sort of reduce the consumption of potatoes in people's diets?
It could be interpreted as that. I think it's left to the imagination as to what they want to do with it. Grains don't really have nutritional value. That's what the letter from the bipartisan group of senators were saying. They're saying that potatoes have nutritional value.
Well, that's
and
not true.
If they were to classify, yeah. but I know I like eating those earthly grains, quinoa, things of that sort. There is some nutritional value. But I guess how they're trying to do it, maybe to the same level of cereal.
Well, the bottom line is it seems like when government gets involved in these nutrition issues, it always ends up being a disaster. That's how we got the food pyramid that was replaced by the plate. And the plate was somewhat of an improvement because it reduced the prevalence of sort of carbs and grains in people's diets. But you think about that from the inception of this DGAC, they were telling Americans to eat carbs, reduce meat, reduce protein, and so again, when government gets involved in this stuff, it seems like it just messes everyone up.
We do see a bipartisan effort from senators, Republicans and Democrats, who are trying to push back on this.
And I think it's really important to also say that these guidelines do actually matter. Some people are like, "Oh, who cares? Just ignore them." But this is how the military eats. This is how
the school systems they all have to follow these guidelines,
and prisons. And I mean,
and I think there's been an effort to reduce. Basically, here's the thing. The school lunch program under Michelle Obama said we got to reduce the emphasis on grains and we got to put more emphasis on vegetables. And so these people are saying, well, potatoes are vegetables, so let's use potatoes. They're resilient. We can store them longer. They're easier to deal with. And so now they're saying, no, we're going to classify potatoes as a grain, so they're not going to be used as much. That's why the one Democrat who's coming on board and saying, no, don't do this, is from Colorado, Michael Bennett, where they grow a lot of potatoes.
Yeah, there you go.
So you got Idaho and Colorado both saying, stop doing this. So this will hurt potato production.
Yep.
Because one of the biggest customers of potatoes right now is the U.S. government. Mm-hmm. So there you go. Got to the bottom of it finally.
Don't eat your big potato.
They're completely idiots. They're idiotic. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Gabby. You always find these stories. That's fantastic. You've got a good nose for them. Thanks, Gabriella Hoffman.
I do.
Independent
Hope you both
Women's
had a great
Forum,
Easter.
and also contributor at. We did have a good Easter. Thank you. And did you?
I did, yes.
Did you find any trans people who were visible to you?
Visibility challenged?
Yeah.
I think I did on Saturday when I went to the makeup store.
You can't tell sometimes, though.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye, Gabby.
To each their own.
It's 6:45.